The need for speed. Landeskog!
Yeah!
He scores! Oh, Captain! My Captain! Welcome back, Cap! Gabe Landeskog!
Oh, if they ever needed a goal at this moment and for somebody to break the ice there, Captain Gabriel Landeskog catches it on his forehand, puts it just in front of him so he can lean into it. A clapper just under the top of the circle, far side. Oh.
John Mitchell, Mitchie's our guest right now. Hey, Mitchie, that was tricky because you didn't, but you almost did the color analysis bad mistake of the world.
Blow the play-by-play
call.
Been there, done that.
But that must have been an amazing moment. You didn't blow it at all. You just had a great natural reaction. But you must have had to catch yourself a little bit during that moment because it was so exciting.
Well, yeah. What are you going to do there?
Right.
The roof kind of blew off the place. And, I mean, I'm sitting there acting like a fan up in the stands, which, I mean, a lot of times I am. But even more so in that moment for Gabe because, you know, I played with him for 5 years. He's a good friend of mine. And for everything that he's been through, it was so special. It was so cool to be there and, you know, have a little piece of his comeback story in there myself, I guess, selfishly. Yeah, but
so
it was awesome.
Awesome.
Hey, that we talked about this the other day. It was fabulous and momentous. And as you mentioned, with all the struggle and what he's gone through medically and everything else. But to me, the even bigger play, and I keep going on this, for a hockey player, playoff hockey player, when he's sitting there wrestling the big defenseman for Dallas in front of the net, and Gerard puts it down the 5-hole, and he's blocking out the goalie, and they can't. But him wrestling in front of that big guy, that was Gabe Landeskog looking healthy to me.
Well, yeah, without a doubt. If there was any worry or tentativeness about him and where he was with his knee, you can rest those with him struggling, battling with that big beast in front of the net. Because, I mean, when you watch him out there, that defenseman, he just kind of bowls over a lot of people, but not Gabe. And let's be honest, Gabe's got to be probably the strongest he's ever been in his life right now. And he definitely looks it out there. He looks like an absolute ox.
Yeah, people say you can't forget how to ride a bike. I don't know. I might forget after 3 years.
Well, Nate said something really interesting. Nate said that Gabe said there's no difference between being out for a month and 3 years. And Nate kind of laughed at that. But do you buy that, Mitchie? Like that there's something to that?
I don't know. Maybe being off even that much longer is better than being out just 6 weeks or, a couple of months. I don't know. I've never been out 3 whole years. I've missed 6 weeks and 8 weeks at a time. And even missing 6 weeks and 8 weeks from a leg injury and then coming back, it takes some time. It takes a minute to feel comfortable. And you kind of, and every injury that I had where I was out for an extended amount of time was knee injuries. So I'm fully aware of the knee, and you're kind of a little bit tentative when you're going into battles and stuff, because you obviously don't want to re-injure it. But at the same time, Gabe has had a long time to rehab it. And I know there were ups and downs with it and setbacks here and there, but obviously he knew going into that game that his knee was feeling really good, and it looked it for sure.
John, right. I don't know what you're supposed to make out of a game that you got 2 free goals and it feels like it's over before it even begins. But one thing that does seem clear for the Avs over this series is they can't get the power play right. They're three attempts at it, only 6 shots on goal. What can they do to change that up or make it better?
I just look back at last year when you go up against the Winnipeg Jets and Connor Hellebuck in the first round, right? Everybody was asking that, how are we going to beat Hellebuck? How are you going to beat Hellebuck? And then the Avs were able to put up 4+ goals, it seemed like, every game. And there's a reason why they were able to do that, is because of the net front presence they have. And just like you guys were talking about with Gabe, standing in front of the net, holding his ground, creating chaos in front of the goalie. I was never a goalie, but I coach kids, and I've asked goalies before, what do you guys hate the most? And every single goalie will say traffic. And there's not one goalie that goes, you know what? I love traffic. I love chaos in front of my net. I love it when defensemen shoot it from the point and I can't see it. I've never heard a goaltender say, hey, that's great. I love being in that situation. No, goalies in the NHL, if they can see a puck from the point, they're going to make that save 99.9% of the time.
Unless it hits you in the shoulder and frequently goes in.
Well, that's why, but that's traffic in front again he's talking about. It's banging off somebody.
All right.
Exactly. So for me, I think Val Nichushkin, personally, Val does not need to be on the second power play unit. I think you put him right in front of the net because he is the best player on the team. And maybe he's fighting Gabe for that situation, but he is the best player on the team for his size and his ability to get tips on pucks. I find that the Avs power play, when it's really successful, Cale Makar is really good at getting shots through. But again, if a goalie's going to see Cale Makar's shot from the blue line all the way in with no traffic and maybe just a stick in the way, he's going to make that save. But when Val is standing in front of the net, he does such a good job of taking the goalie's eyes away because he's willing to stand right in front of the goaltender. And then he's able to get tips. He's able to get rebounds. So again, I think you got to throw big Val in front of that.
Okay, so you take Natchez off power play one?
Yeah. What has Natchez done on
Nothing.
power play?
Overpass.
I gotcha.
Yeah, overpass, and he's got one-timers with virtually the entire mid to upper part of the net available, and he shoots it 3 inches off the ice. Now, did he miss it? I don't know, but you do those little drills in practice where guys are passing it to you and you're one-timing it from the side of the net and you're putting that bar down 99 out of 100 times. So in a big game, in a big moment, you have to put that in. If Natchez scores there, all of a sudden the game is 1-1, right, on that power play. But he doesn't bury there. And then all of a sudden Dallas scores another kind of fluky goal to make it 2-0 going into the first intermission. So again, he has to bury there. It's kind of, hey, what have you done for me lately? And if you haven't done much, there's no time to waste now.
It feels, what's going on with Val? How did he come off of that first power play? Where has he been? Why hasn't he been his dominant self in this series?
Yeah, I guess that's a good question. And he's a kind of player that maybe he needs that bump up to the first line, get him on the first line so that he can go up there and play with Nate and get some good looks and get some good minutes, get some good opportunities, because obviously Nate is so dynamic. He creates so much open ice for himself and for the other players that play with him. And again, Val is really good at giving the puck to talented players like Nate and getting to the dirty areas of the ice, the front of the net. And Nate is just as good as any defenseman in the league at walking the blue line and getting his shot through. So there's another look there to get a player that, last year in the playoffs, he had 8 goals. And right now he's got 1 point.
Right.
So that was the first goal of the series, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'd be so tempted to put Lehkonen, McKinnon, Nichushkin. Second line, I guess I'll go Natchez, Nelson, Gabe, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess,
yeah,
right?
I don't hate it either, but at the same time, is it too late in the playoffs to just completely bingo ball your lines and break up whatever sort of chemistry you may have with some players, right? And who knows? Maybe Bedsy starts Game 6 with the same lineup he's had, but if things aren't clicking, 10 minutes into the first or after the first period, all right, throw them in a blender and see what you can make, because you literally have nothing to lose.
I want to ask you a stupid question because I'm known for that. And you mentioned a while ago, you don't know what it's like. You know what it's like to be out 6-8 weeks. We're talking 3 years with Gabe. You think after watching Gabe, and listen, once hockey's in your blood, I played basketball. Basketball gets in your blood. I'm 64 now. It ain't left. I've been retired for 31 years, and it ain't left. I still think I can play, and I know I can. But do you think there's some retired guys going out there going, I've only been retired 2.5 seasons.
No way.
Dude, I think I could.
I bet hockey leaves you quicker than anything.
I think my body's healed now. I think I'd go back and play. Do you think that's inspired any dudes to go, man, I left a little bit too early?
Hey, listen, I think about that every day. I'm 40 years old now. And,
Tyler just admitted he's going to go back for the NFL. He's 40 now, too.
I've only been out for 10 years. No big deal.
Yeah, only 10 years. And I'm sure the body's changed quite a bit, but that's just what happens, right? Like I think about it every day. It's your mentality won't change about how you approach the game and the desire you have. And, even me up in the booth with Connor, or whether I'm on the TV or the radio, like I still get goosebumps before games and I'm not even playing. Right. So it's that competitiveness that you have and that feeling you have before a game where you're sitting on the couch watching it, that doesn't just up and leave you. Right. So I think a lot of guys have everybody has that in your brain. You think you could do something and then your body will say, whoa, wait a second. What's going on here?
Hey, I'll tell you a funny story. So I'm doing sideline my first year out of the league, and I'm calling the games for the Nuggets, who I finished my career with the Nuggets. And I'm on the sideline. You have these backstands. I'm sitting in the stanchions. I got a black the sports coat on, red tie. I remember that, playing Houston. And this one official is just not calling anything. And I am sitting there on this back stanchion, cussing and screaming at this referee and just going nuts, to the point where I got full sweat running down my face. And all of a sudden it hit me. I went, dude, you ain't a player no more. And I was literally cussing this dude out. And I'm like, what are you doing? So you're right. It don't leave you, especially soon after, but it finally does. The body says no before your mind does, is what you're saying.
Well, the question is, when is this season leaving the Avs? And I felt myself, John Mitchell's our guest, I felt myself really bummed out last night. Really, seriously, and this morning. Like, I was like, whoa. I just did not see them having that bad of a game at this point of the season. I just didn't see it. So,
but again, he says,
all right, walk me off the ledge. Walk me off the ledge.
You hit
Talk to me.
You hit the one net on the power play, and two fluky. Their first two goals are fluky.
But bad time to have a bad game.
And then you take away the other thing. It's a 3-3 game. We're going into overtime again.
All right, Mitchie, what do you think tomorrow? Or Thursday, rather?
Well, I mean, the Avs get to come back home. They got some home cooking. They're always good on home ice. Ball Arena will be buzzing. It's just a matter of keeping, your emotions in check and keeping things light. And I think that's where Gabe can really bring a veteran, obviously captain, calming presence to that room. That is something that Gabe is so good at, and not everybody gets to see it, right? Because you're not in the room every time, all the time. Mm-hmm. There's not cameras in the room in between periods, but the amount of calming effect that Gabe presents when he's in the dressing room with the fellas, whether you're up 3 goals or whether you're down 3 goals, he keeps things very even keeled, because we all know in sports, you cannot get too high and you certainly can't get too low. And in game 3, unfortunately, obviously it was phenomenal for Gabe. What a moment. But I believe that all those guys, the high was too high. It was sometimes when you get too high like that emotionally, it kind of sucks the life out of you. Yep. If that makes any sense. So it's kind of crazy how that works, but I think that's what happened in game 3. And then game 4, all that was over. And it was like, we need to go and win a hockey game. And that was the most dominant hockey game I've seen the Avs play in a long time. So somehow they have to find a way to replicate what they did in game 4 on home ice. And then game 7, when it does roll around, I mean, that's anybody's game.